to be styling a website from scratch. You're going to be given a blank HTML document, or well, it's not blank, it's going to have content, but you're going to be given an HTML document with no styling, and you have to style it yourself based on a list of tasks given in the document. Now, don't worry too much about that, but pretty much there is a solution video that I created to style it based on how I want the website to look. But again, it's not kind of like an iron fist thing. You can go and be creative with it once you get to that point. Because once you learn all that CSS, what's the point if you just have to conform to something? You can really unleash your creative freedom through CSS once you learn all the skills necessary. So again, it will be talked about in a lot more detail once we get to that point. But for now, that's just a quick overview of what it's going to look like from here. All right, so there's a quick overview of what the course is going to go over, some of the topics. Now, again, this isn't a, kind of a strict video on, this is what we're going to learn, and if you don't learn it, that's it. It's just kind of showing you what you're going to be getting out of the course so that you can really get a view into it before you start working on the course. All right, let's get started. So in this video, I'm just going to be talking about some of the software that we're going to be using in this course. Now, there's not a lot of actual software since most of the stuff we're going to be doing is built straight into CSS and HTML, but we do need a text editor. And if you want to go ahead and use Notepad, go ahead, but I wouldn't really recommend that because it is quite hard to use when you're developing things. So I recommend this text editor right here. It's called Sublime Text. It gives you all of the color coding and formatting that you need. It makes things really easy for you. So you can go ahead to the website here. It's attached to the lecture resources. If you go ahead and click in the top left corner in the bullet list icon, you can go ahead and find the lecture contents and downloadable resources. So go ahead, check out this website, and depending whether you're on Windows or Mac or Linux, you go ahead and download this. And yeah, that should be pretty much it. So this is what it's going to look like when you're inside. I was just typing a little bit of stuff here, making sure things were working. So there you go. This is what it's going to look like. Once you download it, we'll go through and actually set everything up as we go through this course. All right, let's move on. So before we move on, I just want to talk about finding project files. Now, I do a lot of code throughout each lecture, and if you want to keep track of those or maybe have some sort of working reference of what's going on, then I highly recommend that you go and check out the GitHub repository that I created for all the content of this course. Now, if you don't know what Git is or how to use it, don't worry. I'm going to show an alternative to that in just a second using this platform. But pretty much this is going to contain all the history of every single lecture. Now, if you know how to use Git, you can download this and check out each state. But if you don't know, then all you have to do is head over to the main page. And right here under commits, it's pretty much going to show every single lecture change. So for example, I have 7 to 8 item alignment. So I can click on it. And when I click on this, it shows all of the changes I have made to both files or any files that I've changed. So for example, you can see here, it has one changed file, and you can see I've added a bunch of stuff here. So you can kind of review what I've done over the lecture. So you can just go ahead and check it out. I've attached this to the lecture resources if you want to go and look at it now. This does contain all of the history, all of the things that I've done over the course. So you can go review, maybe look at the code, and you can also download it. You can download the actual file or the repository from here. So you can just download that very easily. And other than that, you can find all of the project files on here if you ever need them. So if you want to, maybe bookmark this or keep this somewhere on a notepad, just to make sure that you have a reference of it throughout the course in case you ever want to go and review the contents or changes of some lecture, you will have it there. All right, let's move on. So today I'm going to be giving a quick introduction to CSS. We're going to be going through what it actually is, why it's used, and what actually does CSS do. So before we get started, if you're just starting out this course and you don't really know the prerequisites, make sure that you do have a little bit of HTML experience. It's not recommended, it's not needed but it's highly recommended because we're going to be using a lot of HTML in this course, and although we're not going to be writing any directly, it would be really helpful to know some. So I do offer a free HTML course